Hi, this is Mark Mifflin. I'm the president-elect of the Illinois Association of Defense Trial Counsel. I'm also a member of the Legislative Committee. I'm going to provide you a brief report about the legislative activity in the spring session of the Illinois General Assembly. Today is February 5th of 2016. The bill introduction deadlines are coming up on us, February 11th for the House bills and February 19th for the Senate bills. So there's been a flurry of activity with reference to the introduction of bills. There hasn't been much substantive activity yet. The committees are just now gearing up, and committee hearings will be held over the next few months, leading to the end of the spring session, which is scheduled for the end of May this year. The activity is still focused a lot on the disputes between the governor and the democratically controlled legislature with reference to the budget and fiscal matters. So there really have been some lulls in the substantive activity, and especially with the election coming up in November, there'll be the thought is that there won't be much done this year. The Illinois Defense Council, though, has a couple different bills that we've worked with sponsors to introduce, which we think are very important to the civil justice system, and we're working hard to get those heard and considered by the General Assembly. First is Senate Bill 2310 by Senator Radonio and House Bill 4426 by Representative Sandak. We've worked with the sponsors on those bills. They deal with joint and several liability and who's included on the jury verdict form. The idea is to include all tortfeasors and the plaintiff on the jury verdict form for defendants, as is done with the plaintiffs now. Right now, under current law, the defendants are limited as to who appears on the verdict form to whoever is left when the case is submitted to the jury, so that if the plaintiff chooses not to settle or not to sue any particular wrongdoers or tortfeasors, they're not included, so the defendant's percentage of fault is increased and may well exceed the 25% threshold for several liability, even though if you consider all of the tortfeasors involved, they would be below that threshold. So we want to level the playing field between the plaintiffs and the defendants and make the calculation based upon the same standard. Also, in a related issue, the jury is told that if the plaintiffs are more than 50% at fault, they don't recover, but they are not told that if the defendants are more than 25%, they are jointly and severally liable. And we'd like to level that playing field and not have the jury told anything, so that the jury could consider the percentage of fault and let the judge apply the law to the facts as determined by the jury, so that there's no inference taken by the jury as to which way they should go based upon what the effect of the facts will be on the law. There's also several bills have been filed that the Illinois Defense Council is interested in and supporting. And those deal with the repeal of the 6-person jury law that took effect on June 1st of 2015. Those bills are consistent with the decision of Judge Gomolinsky in the Caicos case in Cook County Circuit Court, where he declared that the 6-person jury law and the increase in juror fees, which was in the same bill, were unconstitutional. That case is pending in Cook County. It's on appeal. There's an appeal filed that is going to be pursued by the plaintiffs in that case. The record on appeal has not yet been filed, and the briefing schedule has not been filed, but it will be an appeal directly to the Supreme Court because Judge Gomolinsky declared the statute unconstitutional. Those bills, if you want to take a look at them, there are several of them, but one example would be Representative Sandak's bill, House Bill 4473. There are some other tort reform bills involved, including addressing venue and the billed versus paid measure of damages stemming from the Arthur versus Couture file. Basically, those bills would limit venue and would shift the proper measure of damages from charges, the billed amount, to the paid amount for the measure of damages for medical bills. There's a work comp bill filed that we're watching, dealing with the extension of deadlines, or the contraction of deadlines if a temporary total disability award is denied, or if the temporary total disability is cut off, requiring the arbitrators to make a decision on the PPD, or the permanent partial disability, within 120 days. That's Representative Kay's bill. So we are following several of these issues. They have not really heated up yet. We're not sure which ones will proceed through the committee process. The Democrats, Speaker Madigan and President Cullerton in the House and the Senate respectively, control the flow of the bills, but we are sure working to get our bills heard and to promote some of these other tort reform bills, and we're watching out for any bills which we believe would inhibit the equality within the civil justice system. One other thing I want to point out to you, the Illinois Defense Council has a legislative day on April 12th this year, and there's a reception at the Sangamo Club in Springfield on that day. It begins at 5:30. All the legislators will be invited and the local judges will be invited. So we'd like to encourage anybody who's in Springfield or can get to Springfield that day to attend. There will be more emails come from the IDC office and Sandra Wolf dealing with that issue. So watch for those and respond to those, and we'd love to have you come and support the IDC and extend our message to the legislators. In the meantime, if you have an opportunity, especially if you know your legislators, but even if you don't, if you could call your legislator, your senator, and your representative and tell them about our bills dealing with joint and several liability. That's Senator Radonio on Senate Bill 2310 and Representative Sandback on House Bill 4426. We would appreciate your the local support of the bill to the representatives. So thank you very much for your help, and if you have any questions, certainly let us know. We'll be glad to respond, and we'll keep giving you some updates as we go along. Thank you very much.